Dave Scott Hub Media. I'm with Jesse from Absolute Home Care. It's our second show. We made it. Yay! We're
Yay.
doing number two. I last month I learned so much from you, Jesse, and I got to thank you for all that. And it was just one of those things where you open my eyes, and then off air, I'm just giving you like all kinds of questions today, aren't I? Already, just sort of bang, bang, banging that drum. But I want to start, if I can. First of all, you give a quick overview of what it is you guys do, and then I'll throw the questions at you.
For sure. So, here at Absolute Home Care, we do a variety of different things. We do nursing care, we also do PSW care, and we do exercise therapy. So, those are the main umbrellas about what we actually do. But there's so much under each of those categories that we do to support people in their homes.
That's pretty cool that you guys do that. And one of the areas that I really picked up on, I want to focus on if we can, this podcast is the PSWs that work for you. Now, is there a certification that a PSW has to have to come work for you guys?
Absolutely. So we take it very seriously, and we want to make sure that we have people that we hire that really do meet the qualifications, because the care that we provide is so, so important. And a lot of the people that we see are vulnerable people. So it's really important to us that our workers have their PSW certification, which means that they have gone through a college program where they learn how to be a care provider, as well as they need to be registered with the Ontario PSW Association. So this means that they're registered with the association as well, which is huge.
All right. And a couple more questions on that because I think there's this stigma that PSW is only for seniors. You know what I mean? And I think that's wrong. Can you elaborate on that? Because it does, they help every age group, do they not?
Absolutely. So, of course, seniors is a large population of what kind of PSWs focus on. However, there are many other branches in care that PSWs do. So, for example, PSWs also help with recovery. So maybe somebody has had a surgery, like a knee replacement or any kind of surgery, really, and they physically need help to get dressed, to get their meals prepped, to help with house cleaning while they're focusing on recovering. So PSWs can play a huge role in recovery. And another thing as well is they can also help with something called respite care. So there's a lot of people out there and families who are caring for a loved one that might have a developmental disability or something like that, where they need someone to come into the house, stay with this person, and then they're able to go out and maybe go to an appointment or go to the grocery store or even take a nap, because caregiver burnout is a real thing. And as much as we want to pour into our families and our loved ones, we sometimes can't do it all. So having that extra support is crucial.
How do you match them up? Because all personalities are different. Like, do you sort of have to do some kind of an evaluation to match a PSW to a person? I'm just curious.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say, in the aspect of somebody who might have a developmental disability, it's really important to get the right match. So PSWs can actually do additional training to help know how to approach that situation. So I would say that we kind of have an idea of the personalities and the experience that our PSWs already have. We do an assessment with the family and see what their needs are, and then we can kind of match. And of course, if it's not a good match, then we reevaluate.
And what exactly, like you mentioned a few avenues that a PSW might help in the home. Can you give me a bigger view of what actually a PSW would do? Like, I know we're generalizing this a little bit, but I mean, from what extreme to what extreme do they help? Or like, are they, like you said, they might help, they might be there just to play cards, to be a social visit, to help while that other person takes a break. But to what extent do they go? Can they do different aspects of medical treatment?
So definitely there is something we call a scope of practice. So there
Okay.
are certain things outside of a PSW scope of practice that they wouldn't be able to medically do. So Genuinely, a scope of practice for a PSW is personal care. So that ranges anywhere from helping somebody get dressed in the morning, helping somebody brush their teeth, helping somebody have a shower or a bath, those kinds of things and tasks that this person might not be able to physically do themselves, as well as they can help with meal prep. So maybe they're helping somebody who needs their dinner plated and put in the fridge. They're able to take it out and microwave it, but they're not able to kind of get it together. So they can do light meal prep, things like that, as well as light housekeeping. Of course, they're not going to get down and scrub the baseboards and do deep cleaning. However, they can help with light sweeping, vacuuming, laundry, those kind of everyday tasks that somebody who may be recovering from surgery or maybe is elderly and can't physically do those things, as well as respite care. So respite care is more where you're going to see they're spending time with this person, whether that's taking them for a walk, playing cards, just being a listening ear while the main care provider goes and does what they need to do. And that can range for respite, can be an hour to 2 hours. Sometimes people do an 8-hour respite day. So it really depends on the needs of the family and the client.
And that brought me to my next question. So if you needed a PSW, what are the hours of operation basically? Can you get a PSW? Is it just daytime? Is there evenings?
Definitely, we do have 24-hour care. So if
Okay.
somebody needed that, and that's another thing, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because there are sometimes, let's say somebody is suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, and every single night they're getting up and they're trying to wander or leave the house, and the care provider is constantly like, it's a maybe like a family member, like a spouse or a child that's taking care of this person. They're not sleeping. So we would have someone go over overnight for the 8 hours so that they could tend to the client, and the main care provider could get that rest that they need. So really, we're open to any hours, just as much support as we can offer. And we kind of work with our staff to figure out what that would work for them as well as the families.
So talk to me about how someone goes about procuring a PSW to help them with their family, or a person, maybe their great grandparents or something. How would you go about that process? Do they call you, email you? Like, sort of give me an outline. Is there a form to fill in?
For sure. So we don't have any forms to fill in right now. It's really easy. All you have to do is give us a call, or if email is more comfortable for you, that's totally okay too. And you would just reach out and say, hey, I'm looking for some care for, let's say, my grandma. I need someone to come 3 times a week to help her with a shower. And then I would come out to the home and do an assessment, and we would figure out exactly what the needs are and figure out how we can support you and your family.
So that's another question then. So when you go into a home and do an assessment, you're saying you might want to consider a bar in the shower. Like, do you do those types of things as well while you're there?
Absolutely. So it's a
Okay.
full assessment. So I basically go in, figure out what the care needs are, and I also do an environmental assessment. So I'm looking at the tub. If we're giving showers, we want to see, do they need a shower chair? Do they need a bar to grab onto? And if they do need those things, then we can help work with the family to make sure those safety precautions are in place, not only to protect the client, but to protect the workers that are also going in to help this person.
Yeah, I know. I never even thought about that, but I mean, you don't know what the scenario is you're putting a PSW in. So obviously you're going in ahead of time, looking at all, the problem solving equation that you could do to help it make it better for that person as well as PSW. Yeah, those are the things we don't think about that we need you to keep informing us about, right? So that we make all those right choices. Um, Again, tell folks how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can call me here at our office. So our phone number is 519-426-0413, or you can send me an email. It's Jessica at absolute-homecare.com.
I think too. I want to at some point, maybe next month or down the road, I want to talk to Jamie because I noticed you guys had a little video out about her doing therapy in the home. I thought that was really cool, and maybe just let's give Jamie a quick plug. What does she do?
Absolutely. Jamie is a rock star. She is so awesome. She goes in and helps people with strengthening. So when we look at strengthening, we look at things like balance and functionality, right? Because our
Oh
favorite
yeah,
saying is, if you don't use it, you lose
you
it.
lose it.
You lose the muscle conditioning. So she goes in and does an assessment and figures out what the best course of action is and comes up with a plan and even executes it with you. So she's got all kinds of cool tools that she uses to help people with that. So it's awesome.
And I did like that you mentioned last month too. Jamie will use what's there, what's available to
Yep.
the folks that they have, because I think that's critical. A lot of folks are struggling probably financially in a lot of areas. And so you want to use those resources you have at home. And you said, I know that you told me that Jamie's really good at finding those things and, helping those folks so they can use those tools to help them physically stay in shape. That's one of my biggest things is always being in shape, out walking, out in the sunshine as much as you can, because at any age, it's so critical, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not only critical for functionality and everyday use of your body, it's for mental health as well. Because when you're not moving or not getting sunshine, then it really can bring on depression.
Uh, and my last question, I'm sorry to keep you, but I have to know this. So can a PSW take a person if they're helping them? Can they take them out into the community?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And that would be very much arranged ahead of time. So our staff would not be able to, let's say, drive the person's car. We would have to obviously arrange for insurance purposes. However, they could take them out for a walk, or if there was a driver that would drive them both there, then they could help them in the grocery store, those kinds of things.
Yep.
But definitely it's a case by case basis. But for sure, absolutely.
Well, it's just that maybe that walk down the street to the coffee shop, right? Just to get that energy going again and get out in the community.
Exactly. Weather permitting, absolutely.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Thanks for doing this again. I always have so much fun. It's Jess from Absolute Home Care. This is our second podcast, and today we talked about PSWs.